Support for Steppin Out is made possible by local author Sarada Bonnet. In Notes of Forgiveness, Bonnet shares her childhood story as daughter of famed rockabilly singer Sherry Davis. Notes of Forgiveness, available in bookstores and at saradabonnet.com.
Good evening, I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, singer, pianist, band leader, the list is long, Vince Vance. Here
Hi, everybody.
to discuss his annual 39th birthday party at Rock and Bowl this weekend. Hey, Vince, it's good to see you.
It seems like it was only 10 or 20 years ago that was 38.
That's all it was. That's all it was. Poppy Tucker, host of the WWNO radio program Louisiana Eats. Hello.
Hey, Peg.
Good to see you, dear, as always. And making his Steppin Out debut, Morgan Molthrop, creative director of Custom New Orleans, a destination management company, here to discuss his brand new book, Andrew Jackson's Playbook, 15 Strategies for Success. Hey, Morgan.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. And Alan Smason, editor of the online Crescent City Jewish News, and Tim Clements of the crew of the Rolling Elvi will be joining us later in the program. But first up, Miss Poppy.
Well, Peggy, you know, it's time to sing. It's the most wonderful time of the year. That would be king cake time, okay? And we are inundated with king cakes
Show
today.
and tell, baby.
Well, first of all, our friends at Koshan Butcher sent over some of pastry chef Maggie Scales' king cakes. Now, these look like beautiful traditional king cakes, and there's a cinnamon one, which is very close to the traditional, but you can also get Meyer lemon, almond, chocolate pecan, strawberry, but here's the big reveal, okay? I hope that you all can contain yourself from the smell of the bacon, okay? This is the Elvis, just in time for Elvis's 80th birthday. It's filled with peanut butter, banana, and house-cured bacon with marshmallow all over it, and the bacon is oozing, and there's no baby. It's a baby pig, of course.
Protein.
Yes.
Protein, yes.
Really, doesn't that smell fantastic?
It's a big fad, this protein. Is that why they have the pigs on?
That's it. So you can order these. You can go every day and have a slice of the Elvis at Butcher, at Koshan Butcher. You can also get little 6-inch individual ones for $7 1/4. The 10-inch ones serve $12, and they're $30, and you just have to order them a day in advance. Then, up in the king cake game, only one flavor, but Domenica's king cake. Now this has to be, I think, the 3rd or 4th year they've done it. And it's really so delicious.
It sparkles.
Oh my God, well, it's real edible gold leaf with pecans and bananas and caramel. And oh my dear goodness, it's delicious. But
Wait, is that an eclair? I mean, it looks like an eclair.
Well, this year, it's a king cake, darling, but this year there's something very exciting about the king cake, and that is some lucky person is going to get the golden ticket instead of a golden bean. The golden ticket is 2 tickets to the sold-out Chef de Fête dinners that John is throwing this big benefit in March. The dinners sold out immediately. That's why we haven't talked about them. That's a $1,000 value. And the Fête de Chefs, now there's the pastry chefs. That's brilliant Lisa's king cake, and Kelly Fields, she's the corporate chef for Besh's Restaurants. They are throwing a dessert after party at Bourne. So everybody who's going to these $500 a plate dinners are all going to converge on Bourne afterwards for the largest gathering of pastry chefs from all across America. And they're hosting it. There's going to be an open bar, an unbelievable range of desserts. Tickets are only $60, so go. Get your ticket. That's on March the 21st. Then, big exciting news from the Southern Food and Beverage Museum. Ryan Hughes has gotten his restaurant Perlou, the bricks and mortar one, now open. It's inside of the museum. It's open when the museum's closed, so it's in the evening. There's Ryan with his sous chef, John Elwood. The bar is beautiful. It's a fantastic space. There is this enormous bar where you can sit and watch Ryan and John work their magic. That's my pick for the best seat in the house, right up there at the bar. And Mark Shetler is the mixologist who is making fantastic cocktails. And to give you an idea of some of that southern food, we've got paneed rabbit with field peas and fennel, spicy baby bok choy and red-eye gravy. Oh, was that good? And rice cakes. A lot like a Kellogg.
Rice cakes,
with a mocha custard. I licked it. I licked every last drop out. It was so good. So I'll see y'all all at Perlu. It's really delicious and the place to go.
And one more jewel in the crown of OCH Haley, at the Castle Haley Boulevard.
Really up the game on OCH
really
when they opened up this past week.
And how long do they open till?
It varies, 10, 11, midnight.
You can go to their Facebook page, too. Okay, thanks. And we turn to Morgan. And Morgan, I know you a local guy, but you've been on Wall Street, and you do a lot of destination management. But how did you get involved with this kind of success strategies book, and with Mr. Jackson included?
Well, you know, I worked on Wall Street, as you said before. You know, I was born and raised here in New Orleans, and anyone who really goes through the whole corporate game wants to eventually have their own company and be their own entrepreneur. And I did that in 2009, which is when the recession started. So anyone who's a success story also has to be a failure story at a certain point. And I ended up back in New Orleans, where I grew up. And I was in the same kind of mood or personality as the city was as it emerged from Hurricane Katrina. You know, we kind of met at that point, and I fell back in love with the city, and did some research and was reading a lot about New Orleans, and then I kind of combined my knowledge of business with this twice-told story that's the most amazing story, and we're here. Happy bicentennial of the Battle of New Orleans.
So you have suggestions for success strategies, but you intertwine them with the story of the Battle of New Orleans and some of Jackson's plays as well.
Well, what I really looked like was I did a Monday morning quarterbacking of Jackson's strategies as I looked at what he did from the time that he left Tennessee to the time that he won yesterday, 200 years ago. And I just put those strategies out, and then I looked at the city rebounding after Hurricane Katrina, and I said, well, how are these strategies applicable today, and who is using these strategies? And, you know, if Jackson were here today, what would he do?
Yeah.
We don't have a Jackson.
Right.
But we had a common enemy after Hurricane Katrina, and that brought us all together.
I liked your little sidebars about you interview folks like Press Kabakov and G. Nathan and folks
Mark Romig,
who have been very much a part of helping contribute to the resurgence of New Orleans. So very interesting side. But it's quick and it's accessible and it's kind of fun to read too.
Yeah, you know, it's great for anyone who wants a really quick history to see how different New Orleans was in 1815. I mean, we were a city of Creoles, and for this guy, Andrew Jackson, who was an American, right, to come in here and bring this group of people together, less than 3,000 people versus the greatest army in the world of its time, the miracle of the Battle of New Orleans is just amazing.
Now, you've got some book signings this weekend. You're going to be at Faulkner Books.
Yes, I love Faulkner Books. You know, all of the indies. I'm indie proud.
Absolutely,
right?
And it's available at all local bookstores,
absolutely,
too.
And Barnes & Noble and Metairie.
Yeah, and I should also note that you're going to be, this is a fun venue, the Britannia. You're going to be in the lobby of the Britannia. Isn't that a good idea?
Don't you love the Britannia Theater for doing things like this?
Yes, yes.
So, yes, they're starting to do some book signings there, so I'll be there, you know.
That's a good idea. So tell me about your next book.
Oh, you know, I've just come up with a new book, and it's a contextual art book, and we're following the love signs that are
around that say love.
New Orleans, and it'll be ready for Valentine's Day.
Okay, so keep us in touch, and you have a website. How can we learn more about you?
Absolutely. You're going to go to www.customneworleans.com.
All right, great. Great to have you here. And now it's time for our Artist Spotlight. Tonight we are featuring two works of art. The first is Jackson Meets the Ursulines by J. Watson Davis. Originally from New York City, Davis received his art training in Paris before returning to Brooklyn. He worked for over half a century as an illustrator, including many religious commissions. The second this is so beautiful, the Ursuline mural by Marie Madeleine Hachard, first abbess of the first Ursuline convent in New Orleans in French Louisiana in 1727. Interestingly enough, she included herself, a self-portrait, in the mural, and you can see her in the white habit off to the left. Isn't that beautiful? And both artworks are included in the exhibit Praying for a Miracle, the Catholic Church and the Battle of New Orleans, on view through Memorial Day at the old Ursuline Convent Museum on Charter Street. Self-guided tours are available Monday through Saturday starting at 10 a.m. with the last tour at 3:30. Call 529-3040 for more information. And you can visit WYES.org to see our online calendar and seeing our lineup of our events. Also, our link to our WYES YouTube channel to view our program. But now, we have the great joy of introducing the king himself, who has entered the building, Mr. Tim Clements, a.k.a. Elvis. How you doing?
I'm living the dream, Peggy.
You're living the dream.
Living the dream. Just another beautiful day in paradise.
Happy
Thank
birthday,
you, Poppy.
Absolutely.
I see you brought me a cake. I appreciate that, baby.
And you've also got a special birthday party coming up this weekend.
We sure do. The crew of the Rolling Elvi, which has been parading in the city of New Orleans.
We're going to be showing some pictures through your calendar year here shortly.
We've been parading for about 10 years now with the crew of Muses. 1 year with the crew of Iris, and then this year we'll also be riding with the Knights of Nemesis down in Chalmette near the reenactment.
Fun.
And so we're throwing a party at the Howlin' Wolf over there on South Peters tomorrow night at 7:30. Since Elvis is turning 80 this year, we're going to have an 80s themed blowout with 2 cover bands, High Voltage and Bandcamp. And these guys are just incredible. We're going to have a great time. We encourage you to come in costume, put on, crimp your hair, put on your 80s shades. It's going to be a great time.
Now, what's very nice about this is the net proceeds go to young audiences.
Young audiences of Louisiana. One of our founders, Mr. Macon Moore, is the current president of Young Audiences of Louisiana. And it's a program set up to make sure that we keep the arts programs alive and well in public schools. With cutbacks and budget cuts, the first thing to go is the arts. And we think that that's one of the most important things, especially in our region, that should be instilled in our youth today.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's so important. Now, it used to be that you all were just riding, but you do so much more during the year, huh?
Right. Well, we started out, we just wanted to be part of the Mardi Gras scene, but now we have a dance troupe called the Jailhouse Rockers, and they perform various scenes throughout the city for different benefits.
You also run with the Bulls?
We run with the Bulls. We volunteer for the WYES beer tasting, which is one of my favorite events, of course.
Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to taste beer, you know what?
Yeah, and how many members do you have right now?
We are up to 125 riders, about 35 to 40 Mafia, which are our first-year members who act as our protection along the parade routes, because let's face it, every woman wants to get a picture with Elvis. And then we have about maybe 25 or so Priscilla, which is our lady auxiliary. And they ride with us in Muses behind us on a caravan, throw into the crowds with their own blue suede shoes, just as Muses would appreciate.
Now, once again, if somebody wants to know more about Elvi, that you have a website and a Facebook page.
You can always catch us at rollingelvi.org or at Facebook.com/Rolling Elvi Crew, with a K, of course.
Okay, dear. Great. Good to see you. You look
Always
terrific.
A pleasure. Thank you very much.
New Orleans Magazine's Quiz Queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Julia Lovasso gave us the names of the 2 universities in the South that have colored aquatic mascots. Isn't that great? The name in the color is in the name of the mascot, like the Alabama Crimson Tide and Tulane Green Wave. Now, tonight's question. This French term for a king cake, okay, Poppy, was popularized locally by a French-based restaurant. What is the term? And the restaurant. Email your answers to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prizes: a Louisiana Life magazine subscription. We've got a gift certificate for 2, courtesy of Vianne's Tea House, offering their culinary and gourmet tea experience. And tonight, we have a tote bag with the message, "Be there done that, Mardi Gras. And on the back, shiitake happens. And that's from our friends at wearablevegetables.com. And now, though, it is time to talk to Mr. Vince Vance himself, because you've got that birthday party with lots of local musicians.
It's going to be a really good time. I have one of the most interesting people, I think, of the whole bunch was that, of course, everybody knows the Partridge Family from TV, but there actually was a group that they were based off of, a family group called the Cowsills. And Susan Cowsill, the baby, is just in her prime, and she's going to be singing with us and doing The Rain, the Park, and other things, which is
I love that
I
song.
Love the Flower.
Of course.
And she's doing Happy Together, just a bunch of great songs, and she's appearing with her husband, Russ Broussard. And it's just going to be a great time. I also have from Branson, Missouri, a lovely girl by the name of Marcy Yoakum Dorsey, and she's going to do stuff from her Las Vegas and her Branson show. And I have Wendy Siegel, the leader of Crescent Soul Connection, one of the bands about town. We have my original guitar player is now with the Top Cats, and that's Buzzy Bino. And we also have Chuck Krewe, who's perhaps the greatest blues guitarist in town. He's just a maniac. Buzzy up there, he's going to sing Unchained Melody, and he's quite a crooner, and he's just a beautiful person inside and out. And this is Judy. She's our legacy singer, and she's singing for her daddy, who's up in rock and roll heaven now.
Benny, huh? Benny
Yeah, and she's going to sing Lipstick Traces. Oh, I love this guy. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Just remember, I can get that
Okay, so
look
when
too.
is this? When is this?
Sunday. Sunday from 5 to 9. Well, 5:30 to 9:30, but I want you to get there early.
Okay.
And there's a reason. We have a wonderful silent auction. All of our proceeds, 100% go to Children's Pediatric Oncology Unit.
Oh, wow.
And we've done, I guess, about 10 concerts for them and raised them
that's great.
thousands and thousands of dollars. And it's just something that I say, if you're throwing a concert, why not do some good while you're doing it?
Well, you know, of course, your day job is with Vince Vance and the Valiants. Y'all still keep them pretty busy, huh?
Well, this is Vince Vance and the Valiants. We're playing in the beginning of it.
Okay.
Also, my band's going to be there, my regular full band, and we're going to do a show, and then gradually we're going to integrate all the different stars that are there in our show. At the end, they're all up at the end, and instead of doing We Are the World, we say We Are the Sainties or something like that.
Now, what year did you first become a part of the band?
The band, I started it in the beginning.
Well,
Just like what everybody says.
And what would that be?
That would be, 43 years and 4 months ago.
That's hard to believe. That's hard to believe. And of course, it started in New Orleans. Then you moved on to Dallas for a while, but then you're back.
Always been New Orleans. Always been New Orleans.
Okay.
It's hard to say what it is. It's like we travel the world. We've been in 19 countries, 34 states, 2 appearances at the White House.
Jeez.
7,000 plus performances, and let's see, 18 albums.
Wow.
Later, 4 number ones.
Very good. And All I Want for Christmas Is You was one of my favorites. Oh, man.
That's because I wrote it for you.
That's it. I'm sure you did.
I did. I got a black eye from your husband. Don't ever write songs about not good ones.
And if folks want to know more, can they go on the web? Or do you have your website?
Listen, if you really want to participate, you can call 874-3145. That is our producer, Judy Oquin, every Wednesday night. She's at Children's Hospital, and she's holding the little babies who have cancer, who are fighting for their life. And the people out in television land, you can help us out there and come to our concert. We have a beautiful silent auction. Get stuff. Look, we have a $500 hotel stay with dinner at the Monteleone. We have most beautiful, wonderful stuff.
Good. Well, it's always great to have you. You're always up to something.
Hey, it's usually no good. This time it's for good.
Okay. And on that note, thank you so much. And we turn to Mr. Allen, who's mostly up to good.
Oh,
mostly.
yes, absolutely. Well, there's something in the air. Yes, indeed. Gone with the breaking wind.
The
fact of the matter is the Mid-City Theater is presenting Varley Jean Merman in her latest production, starring also Ricky Graham. Varla Jean Merman is probably one of the funniest people in the world. And, of course, you add to her Ricky Graham and Sean Patterson, Brian Johnson, Jefferson Turner, and Brooklyn Schaefer. And you've got the makings for a classic. And this is, of course, a real classic based on the Margaret Mitchell classic, Gone with the Wind. Of course, all of the characters are changed. You don't have Scarlett O'Hara, you've got Harlot O'Hairnet. And you've got Ashy Heels for Ashley, you know, of course, and of course Brett Butter instead of Brett Butler. But there they are. They're doing fantastic work over there. Unfortunately, for many of the people who are thinking about getting tickets, they have so many sellouts that only a few performances are still available. So check it out. Gone with the Breaking Wind is going to be available still on Sunday the 11th and Thursday the 15th, and then they close on the 18th, which is a Sunday. Unfortunately, they have to go, but you will not miss. It is an adult comedy, please, no children. A lot of adult topics in this, but it is funny, funny, funny. Okay. Also coming up on Tuesday at the Sanger Theater, none other than Mamma Mia. Now, this has been a crowd pleaser for many years. I think they just broke the record to go into the 4th longest running show on Broadway. Mamma Mia, of course, is the ABBA musical. It has all of the music of Dancing Queen and all of the favorites that you may remember, Fernando and what have you. But they basically will have all the music that you've come to know and love by Bjorn Ulvaeus and Benny Andersson. And it starts at the Sanger on Tuesday night. It'll run through Sunday. And again, we're looking forward to seeing that. And we'll have a review for you for next week as well. Moving on, there is, of course, a new theater called the Old Marquet, the OLD, as you would imagine, but it's spelled M-A-R-Q-U-E-R. It was the old Marquet Drugs, and they're now called Marquet Theater because of the change in the name because of threat of a lawsuit, as I mentioned last week. But they're going to be putting on their first production from Lux et Umbra, which is, of course, Shadowbox in Latin, but it's the Shadowbox Theater. So if you don't know where we're talking about, it's the Shadowbox Theater. Your Lithopedion is the very first production they're going to have. It's a work written by Justin Maxwell, directed by Bonnie Gable, and starring right there, you can see none other than Rebecca Hollingsworth and Glenn Oakwan. And again, it's basically a dark comedy, if you will. There is a Serial Killers Anonymous that's getting together, and this fellow is a serial killer, and he's having some thoughts about how he's being perceived in public. You know, that's sort of a public relations issue, if you will. That's going to be going on again, opening up on this week coming up, and it'll be running through February the 1st. And also, want to remind everybody about a wonderful production that George Dansker puts on every year. He does something new. This is his latest offering, Jerome Kern's music, the exquisite music of Jerome Kern. Look for the silver lining. He's going to be joined on stage, if you will, at Touro Synagogue. Well, of course, you have to go through the services first, but afterwards, the two cantors in town, that's going to be Cantor David Mitz, who's new to town, and Cantor Joel Coleman are going to be performing. Of course, Cantor Coleman was here, and they're going to be performing these Kern songs along with others. George Dansker's actually going to be singing a song himself, but I'd go anyway still. Anyway, George does the research. He will talk to you about the history of Jerome Kern and the many songs that he's done. So I know you'll love that. Again, we wanted to remind everybody that's going to be at Touro Synagogue on the 16th. And again, if you can make it, they'll have religious services. It should start around 7 o'clock after the religious services are over. Also, we have some sad news to pass on. Ed Bishop, who was the longtime Artistic Theater Project director. He was a director, an actor, a producer, a member of the Big Easy Theater Committee. He passed away after a valiant battle with cancer this past week, and a memorial will be held sometime in the future. Really nice man. And again, a big promoter of theater in town. We will miss him. He was 65, and again, as soon as I know some details on the memorial, I'll pass that on. So I wanted to take just a little bit of time. I know we talk a lot about theater, but I got a chance to see the wonderful performance of Bella Fleck and the Louisiana Philharmonic on Thursday, and I wanted to remind everybody that he's going to be back at the Philharmonic on Saturday. Unfortunately, again, a sellout, so you're not going to be able to avail yourself of that, but there are several other items coming up of interest to those of you who are going to the Philharmonic. First off, Nadja Solano Sonnenberg, one of the great violinists of all time, is going to be playing Astor Piazzolla That'll be coming up next Thursday night. That'll be the 16th of January, the same night, unfortunately, as George Dansker. And if you want to check that out, that's going to be the Mahalia Jackson Theater. And then coming up the following Saturday night, that's on the 17th,
Wow.
Randy Newman. You know, he's going to be on, he's going to have a program that's going to include Birmingham, Short People, Louisiana 1927, of course, Kingfish, and some of the other things that you will probably remember from the movie Avalon. You've got A Friend in Me, Sail Away. I mean, just a great performer. He loves New Orleans, has a connection to New Orleans, and those of you who remember Alfred E. Newman, the film director, music director, who wrote so many of those great songs. That was his, you know,
he has some cousins here.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he's got relatives here. So again, those of you who want to check it out, it's going to be a great performance, and again, a great way for the LPO to raise money. One of the things about the LPO is that they have these concerts like Randy Newman with these big name stars, so they can get a little bit more money, so they can have other concerts throughout the year too.
Sounds good.
All
Thank
right.
you so much, Alan. And now it's time for our picks. Vince, one more thing to plug real quick.
This Sunday from 5:30 to 9:30,
okay.
doors open.
Sounds good. Poppy.
It's still time for Season of Good Taste dinners. Tuesday the 13th, Dick and Jenny's with Chef Nat Carrier, only $95. Saturday brunch at the Bistro at the Bank, $75. And then Tuesday, January 27th, Gotros with award-winning Sue Zemenik.
All right, great. And Mr. Tim.
This is Tim's pick, not the Elvis, but 1 week from tonight at the La Petite Theater, Jesus Christ, Superstar.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh,
Thank
it's my
you.
favorite.
Okay, great. Alan.
And one other item at the Old Marquee, again, the Shadow Box, if you will. The Devils You Know is going to be playing through the 20th. Again, it's a cast of 4 characters, and I'm going to say this might be something worth checking out.
All right, great. And before we go to my picks, I would like to share these photos of the Funny 40 Fellows ride that was on 12th night. Judy Bottoni captured this image of the group on the St. Charles Avenue route. And we have another one. Justin Winston took a photo of this year's brand new royalty, Christine Meyer and David Johnson. And now my picks. You can check out the Battle of New Orleans bicentennial activities. A lot of them still taking place around town this weekend at nps.gov.jela. And congratulations to the Carol Robinson Gallery celebrating its 35th year with an exhibition reception tomorrow night from 6 to 8. Congratulations, Carol. That's located on the corner of Magazine and Napoleon. And Seva Vena celebrating the launch of his new CD, Revisiting New Orleans String Bands, 1880 to 1949. What an effort that is, and how great that he did this. It's a CD launch party. It's at Snug Harbor tomorrow night with performances at both 8 and 10 p.m. And you can visit his website to learn more about him and the band. But a real labor of love. Don't miss The Squirrel That Kicked the Hornet's Nest political satire featuring Chris Champagne. That's next week at the Castle Theater in Kenner. And you can purchase tickets on their website, castle501.com. Thank you all so much. It's great to have both Elvis and Vince Vance in the house.
I'm so honored.
Thanks for watching.
I was about to say the same thing.
Thank you very much.
Support for Steppin Out is made possible by local author Sarada Bonnet. In Notes of Forgiveness, Bonnet shares her childhood story as daughter of famed rockabilly singer Sherry Davis. Notes of Forgiveness, available in bookstores and at saradabonnet.com.